Hey everybody, this is Bree Tobias back with Art Supply Guide. Today I wanted to do a product review and demonstration using Canson mixed media paper. I have used this paper to do things like ink wash, paintings, as well as watercolor, but I find that this paper is not exactly heavyweight enough to be able to hold up to that kind of level of moisture. I've got a design here that I would like to do a different kind of a style. This is something I kind of did in an art class once, where you take an image and you divide it up into different squares and you do a different style or media within each different square. So what I'm going to do here is I have just a very quick rough sketch of a weeping willow tree, and I don't have it divided just down the middle because I kind of wanted the tree to be divided and it wasn't exactly centered. So I'm going to do in this top square here a watercolor, and then on the other side an ink wash, and then underneath I'm going to do some acrylic paint. I'm going to do some pen. Down here a little bit of colored pencil, and then just regular graphite pencil. So I'm going to just jump into that demonstration. We're going to look at how each media reacts with the paper, and at the end we'll just quickly review. Alright, let's get going. Okay, here's the finished tree using 6 different types of art mediums, and up here on the top here, started with India ink, doing a light wash for the background and a little more concentrated on some of those willow branches. Underneath I used the fine tip permanent black ink pens and just did like a really quick sketch version, black and white, of the branches continuing on down the tree. And then at the very bottom, just a really quick pencil sketch there. And then moving over here back up to the top again, I started with some watercolor, and the background was very light color. But here, just showing you the watercolor with, like I said, a little bit of saturation on the page. And if you kind of see here, the page has gotten just a little bit warped. And I think for the amount of water that I use for both the ink and the watercolor, I put them side by side at the top so you can kind of see how they work together. And now you can kind of get an idea of what's happening with that paper. A lot of times you can frame it and it really won't show so badly. But moving on down here, the acrylic seems to work much better on this paper because it is a thicker paint with less water. And I've never really worked with this paper too much with acrylic paints. I had done one other mixed media piece, and I did use some acrylic paints on it, and I'm really happy with it. I traditionally don't paint on paper with acrylic paints. I tend to use canvas and wood as my preferred surfaces for acrylic paint. So I would actually say that yes, I would recommend that, even more so than the water mediums like ink and watercolor, which I have been using on this paper. So I would probably really go back to this. And of course, with each layer that dries on the acrylic paint, it's just going to cause that paper to become more stable and thick. So acrylic paints, definitely yes. Here at the bottom, Prismacolor colored pencils. These are the Prismacolor Premier, the softer leads, and I just did a really quick sky. There are little bits of white showing through. I didn't want to work forever on it, but the colored pencils work nicely on this paper. It's got a little bit of a tooth, little texture that's great for helping the pigments to adhere to the paper. However, it's not too bumpy to where you have to grind that pencil down into the little divots and pits of the paper to get the pigment to give it a full smooth coverage. If you want to try out this paper sometime, I would recommend it. It's great for doing sketching, quick projects, things like that. If you really want to get into doing watercolor, I would highly recommend just getting a watercolor paper for your watercolors and your ink washes. Okay guys, thanks again for joining me for this product review and demonstration, and I hope it was informative and it helps you choose your art supplies wisely. I will see you guys next time, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you can stay in touch with all of the other art videos that I put out on Art Supply Guide. Alright, I'll see you next time.